Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Welcome back. You probably have heard this term. It's in the cards. It's your future's in the cards. That's not referring to traditional poker playing type cards. We're talking about tarot cards. And if you've never experienced it, hold on, because we're going to learn a lot today. It's also been said that when you pull certain cards, spirit directs the cards that are pulled, and that gives you insight on whatever you're questioning, whatever your future may be. We're going to learn more about that. He reads the cards, and he's also a performer. He's like multifaceted, super cool guy. Xander Martinez is back with us. How's it going?
Hey, how you doing, Steve? I'm going great. I can't wait to get into this.
So when we got together a few weeks ago, you pulled some cards on me,
Yes, sir.
and it. I didn't say anything to you, but
No.
it was in line with what I was thinking, what was going on at the moment. So I'm fascinated by it. And side note, I even bought myself cards, very simple ones, because I don't go deep in terms of
Oh
like,
yeah, that's great.
yeah,
Great to know.
yeah, just I want to learn more about it. I'm not even sure if they're tarot or if they're oracle cards. They're like angel cards. I think it's Kyle Gray is the guy that created them.
Yeah.
Still learning, just kind of messing with it. You do this yeah, on a regular professional basis. Let's boil it down to the basics if we can. What's going on when you pull cards?
Yes, sir. So very great question. And yeah, so I guess I want to actually pinpoint something. I want to say good for you on the angel card stuff. Like that's actually how me and my friend got into it together. So going
Wow.
back to when I started about a year ago or so, maybe even more. I got to keep track somewhere on a calendar. But the thing is like she has like a crystal shop and she was intrigued on what I do. But she started with her people that bought crystals and started giving them angel cards, kind of like oracle telling, kind of like it'll be okay, encompassing like good value cards. And I was like, I can read those. And then she started incorporating tarot. And I was like, I can read those too. And then we just kind of went from there. And she expanded my horizon about what I could be and what I could do. So thanks to her. And honestly, like that's a great way to start. So question to you real quick. Did you buy like a regular tarot set? Do you know Rider Waite were the original creators of the tarot? Did you get one of those basic sets?
I'm not even sure. I know it's
Well,
Kyle Gray. Somebody recommended this set. Um, they're angel. He calls them angel
oh,
cards.
my
So
bad, the angel. Okay, angel
yeah.
card.
So I don't know if they're like a little bit more tarot, or oracle. I'm not really sure. I just know that they're super basic,
Yeah.
super simple. You can interpret them very easily instead of like going to the book and thumbing through and see. If you want to
Yeah.
go deeper, there's a little, there's a paragraph or two if you go through the book.
Definitely. Yeah.
But it's just kind of for fun. And there's been a few times where, you know, I've gotten some insight. I wonder what's going on. Like when you pull a card, is it the universe? Is it spirit directing you to pull that card, or the universe already knows that you're going to pull it, and that's the one that has the message for you?
Yeah, it's a great question to start with, right? So before to get into the tarot, it's all about intuition, right? So it's all about what you feel, your gut feeling. So basically, whatever card you want to pull, whatever feeling you have that you want to share, and when you start, when I started this divination of the tarot, I centered and I focused that into the actual storytelling of it. So I'm a storyteller. I like to talk a lot. I'm a little loquacious. I like giving the details, and it was just already innate in me to go ahead and go there with details. So when I started pulling out the cards and seeing the story that was coming from my mind, I was like, wait, there's something to this. And then as much as I learned and I heard and I read and I saw about it, I was like, I can do this. And it just started coming innately. So honestly, it's just following your gut instinct. Like in
Hmm.
life, right? That's what we're meant here to do. It's like once you follow it, you're gonna find your niche and what you want to do. And this is definitely for me, bro. So check it out. So this is what I got, right? So I got a few cards on the table ready to spread. So just to go ahead and basic knowledge of tarot, there's 78 cards in the tarot spread.
Oh,
There are 22 cards. We call them the major arcana. Think of it like big events in your life happening, right? So 22 cards represent major events in your life. And the other 56, they represent the details, the minors, right? And if we take the 56 cards, right? So those are separated into four different suits. And we got the wands, we got the cups, the pentacles, and the swords. They all have to do with different parts of your life, right? So Wands have to do with action and movement and moving forward and just goal getting, right? Like nonstop and kind of relentless. Depending on how far you go in the story and what number you get and what it means, it could be different levels of severity in your life, right? Cups have to do with inner worth, have to do with outer love coming into you, you spreading love into the world, all kinds of dimensions of it, right? So it's all of that value within yourself that you spread, you share, and you take in from others, right? And then
Wow.
you have pentacles. Pentacles have to do with mostly people see it. It's like a coin with like a star. It's not. It's a. I guess it's like a mini pentagram. Nothing religious related, but it's just like an aspiration to meet that monetary gain to sustain you in this lifetime. Because unfortunately, we're all spirit. We're all connected to something higher than us. But at the same time, we all have to maintain here. We have to keep our head above water. So money is a thing, right? So that's mostly having to talk about money. And the last one is swords, and that has to do with your airspace, very cerebral, like it's in your head, and just things you think about, and the severity of decisions that need to be made. Think about what before you say it, or how deep you are in your head. That's to your own detriment at times. Right. So that's the basic general knowledge of it. And then when you start pulling cards, you start seeing the picture come together and you start matching up numbers and colors and what you see in the cards. And I'll tell you, I've done, oh yeah. So I did my 131st reading yesterday. So I'm pretty up there. So I love keeping track of
Wow.
my numbers, right? I think there's always something to that. We'll see where I am in 6 months, but I think there's always something to that. So I've reached a lot of people. And I say that to say that reading yesterday was a little heavy, right? And what I started picking out was the colors to her story. And the thing was, it just started making sense. And then it had to do, without giving away too much info, her husband as well. And then when I started reading the trajectory of she paid for an hour session, which is 21 cards, and I started going through the story, and it started shifting from her energy to her husband's to both of theirs, and it ended with hers. So it's like I
Wow.
can't explain it. It just happens. It's kind of like the magicians working what they do, but without that secret trick and them actually doing the trick. So it's kind of like that, and it's all intuition based, right? So what I want to share is how I read and exactly what I see into the cards, and maybe share with you guys some cards as well, just to get like a clearer picture of how I see things and maybe why. I'm going to give you upright and reverse. So I say that to say we're going to start with the swords. All right. So we got Eight of Swords. Now I want to share this picture, right? So Eight of Swords, this has to do with, if you look at it, it's self-limiting beliefs in yourself, right? This is all about headspace. So the way I read it is basically she's bound, right? But she has tons of swords around her. She can poke out her hand. She doesn't want to. This is her wanting to be oblivious. This is her wanting not to take that step forward and not wanting to change, right? And that's almost as simple as we can say it. But again, once you start reading it with other cards, it starts to make sense. So it's not that simple. It's a little more abstract, but this is a general idea of, right? And reverse would obviously mean the opposite. So reverse here, she's not bound. She's ready to go. She's not keeping silent anymore, right? So that's how you start reading it. And like once you start understanding every individual card, put it together, it just flows, man. So like the next one, right, would be, we're gonna go to wands. So I'm sorry, I'm getting notifications. All right. So wands, right? Right here. So if you look at this, it's very celebratory. We got the Six of Wands. She's marching forward in her own parade. But you could also see it as she's choosing not to see people who are trying to bring her down in the background, right? The whole emphasis behind this is that she's going to move forward no matter what, and she's going to be careless about it. She knows what she deserves. She's moving forward. In reverse would mean the total opposite. She's reversing her thoughts. She's not going with her gut. She is being attacked and letting it affect her. You know what I mean? So it's all of that I mean, maybe it's easy for people to see. I don't know, but I just see it very innately, and it just makes sense to me. And if we keep going, just to keep sharing some stuff, right? So we're gonna go to the suit of pentacles. Six of pentacles. If you look at this, he's actually giving, right? He's very, very giving. But there's also, I believe, a scale. Yeah, there's a scale in there. Scale represents Libra. Libra is all about balance and justice, right? So if you interpret it that way, it's reciprocity, right? Because not only is he giving, but he's receiving and should be, right? And it's plentiful. You got all these pentacles, all these coins in the background. So whatever he may be sharing or giving, it's coming back to him, right? This, if that comes up in a reading, I'll probably advise someone to stop giving so much. Look into themselves. Stop taking so much. Stop giving so much. Be centered and then continue on in your life. There's a pause that needs to be taken here, right? So that would be intertwined with the story of it all, whatever comes before or after it. Lastly, if we touch like on the cup suit, right? So that's about the inner love. We got this. We got the Four of Cups. I just wanted to bring out here. Okay, so if you look, they have three cups already. and ideally they're filled, depending on how you look at it, right? Cup half full, cup half empty, right? So I like to think about it. They think they have enough that they don't need something else that's offered to them, right? So this can be a very kind of stubborn, cold energy, kind of like I have what I need. I don't need anything else. But if we're talking about cups, we're talking about love, right? So this could be someone who doesn't want to be in love. This is someone who's scared of love. They think they got what they need, and they don't need anything further, right? On the other hand, in reverse, this means give me that. Give me it. I have this, but I want more. It's kind of like an eager, kind of a negative feel, right? So this is what I feel when I get this in reverse. And again, if you were to put all these into a story, it'd be a hell of a story. You know what I
Right?
mean? So it'd be a hell of a story. And when you actually feel the person, you talk to them a bit and you get the flow of their energy, it just comes to you. And I'm like, da 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 da. So I would literally put these cards together and I would say, does this resonate? Right? And they'd be like, yes. And sometimes they'll say kinda, and then we pull the details and then it becomes clearer, right? But mostly they will say yes. And then they go from there. And it could be anything from love to health to money. And that's what I do. And it's crazy that sometimes it does flow like from person to person, it does flow from topic to topic. And it's crazy because they're leading me without knowing it. You know what I mean? Like they're leading me with their subconscious and I'm just tapped into it. The more calm I am, the more receptive I am, right? And I always say the more receptive you are to it, the more you will always get out of it, you know? So if we keep going, so those are the main arcana suits, right? So we're going to talk about the major arcana, the 22. So these are like life-changing events, right? So these are a little more serious and a little more profound. So I pulled out first, let's look at the Wheel of Fortune. Right, so we got the Wheel of Fortune. So this one right here, every one of the major arcanas, I believe, for the most part, they're ruled by like a planet, and every planet, right, they actually have to do with a certain topic. For example, this is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is all about expansion, all about growth, all about idealism, right? So this right here, literally metaphorically and regularly speaking, the Wheel of Fortune is turning in your favor, right? So things are moving forward, things are progressing, things are going, things are looking positive. It's a very, very positive, lucky card. But in reverse, luck's against you. You're moving backwards. Think before you go forward. Don't move forward, right? So it all depends on what you feel from the story of what you advise, because I never want to do definites, you know what I mean? And be like, oh, you have to do this. Like, no, it's in the cards now that you shouldn't. What do you feel? And then we talk. So then it comes like a psychology session, you know what I mean? Like, and it's
Mhm.
okay. Like, I'm all for therapy. It's so great. But like just yesterday, like finishing the reading and shit. Oh, I'm sorry, finishing the reading. What happened is that she actually started crying. She started welling up a bit. I'm like, it's okay. It's a safe space. I got my candles lit, this, and that. And that's another thing. So, really, really quick pause to this. I work with candles and I work with incense and I work with stones, right? So candles, they all have different colors. Like think of it like the rainbow, Roy G. Biv. But for me, they represent the chakras, right? So before a reading happens, I kind of just tap and I kind of say their name and mix the cards. I pick cards and I pick candles randomly. And ideally, I'm like, okay, if it's the red one, it has to do with the root chakra. They need to be more grounded. But this is even before I even talked with them. And lo and behold, every time I pick random candles and a random incense, there's something to it and something in there that they need to focus on. They need to bring out to the surface to go in and heal. So it's crazy. Just yesterday, I never used my lavender incense. It flew out at me when I was picking in my bag for an incense, and it means healing. It means to do that inner work, and that's everything she needed to do. And it's so crazy. And the candles all turned out to be purple, matching the lavender, having to do with
Wow.
the crown chakra. And then you need to be more open, so you be more okay and grounded. It just all made sense. You know what I mean?
When,
But
when you're pulling
yeah,
cards,
yeah.
what's actually going on in terms of the universe? Like how you don't know, you're randomly pulling cards, right?
Yeah.
How do those cards show up? Is it what should show up based on energy, universe?
So, when you think too hard on something, you're like, should I go with that one? Should I go with this choice? So you just kind of really sit on it, right? So with the actual tarot, I don't. As soon as I feel it, I say it. I feel it, I say it. And I even say, excuse me sometimes, because, I'll curse, I'll get excited, I'll get a little serious, and they're like, no, go ahead, keep it coming. Because once they get open to that receptiveness, they want more. So honestly, it's just going with your gut and what you feel. Be like, no, this shouldn't happen. Oh, you should do this. Oh, how about this? Did this happen? And everything has been accurate. Everything has been accurate. And that goes to show that you should always go with your gut. And again, that's
Mm,
in life. You know what I mean? That's in life. And this teaches you very profoundly that you got it. What you're meant to do or be, or if you think that you need to do it, that's what you need to be doing. You know what I mean? So It's beautiful how honestly my clients don't know, but I feel like I get so much more out of, I get just as much out of them as they get out of me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Same here. I'm doing a podcast with you. I'm learning.
Yeah.
So,
And I see you being receptive. Yeah. You're in it. Yeah. 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 So check it out. So if we keep going with the major arcana of it all, right? So I got another couple cards to show, and I want to make sure I pull out this one because a lot of people get scared when I pull out this one.
I have a
Okay.
feeling I know which one it's going to be, but yeah.
Death. Yeah. So it's gonna be death. All right, guys. So just so you know, anyone who is listening intently, like the host here, thank you. What's going on with this card is it's all about rebirth, right? It's all about that transitory period that's hard to deal with. Right, it's about saying bye to a chapter, moving on to the next. That's what this solely represents. And if we want to go deeper with this, it's actually represented by Scorpio. Scorpio is dually rooted, or I'm sorry, ruled. It's ruled by Mercury and it's ruled by Pluto. So my bad, Mars. Mars and Pluto. Mars is about aggression and passion and almost like a war tactic kind of thing, right? And Pluto is all about the death and the rebirth and the destruction, right? But this encompasses all of that, right? So that's why it's been ruled by Scorpio. So it could be tough. It could be hard. But when you get the death card, ultimately, if something hasn't ended, it needs to come to an end because there is something moving forward to transition you to the next, right? So that's exactly how I take it. And if we have the death card in reverse here, don't move. You're okay. Stop trying to make it change. What you know exactly how to do it, don't change it. You know what I mean? So this right here is halt your horses, basically. This right here is move forward. So, but it's gonna be tough, right? It's gonna be tough. Yeah. And then the last major arcana that I want to show you guys is the Fool, right? So the Fool right here, this actually starts the whole story of the tarot. So if you actually study it, right, all 78 cards, it's a whole story built up, right? The Fool, it's his journey, right? We're the fools. We start our journey. We make our mistakes. We learn our lessons. We move on. Maybe we don't. We progress. We go to something great. We awaken. It's done, right? Something like to that effect, right? To dumb it down. So the Fool, basically, it's all about a new journey, all about a new way of thinking, a new way of being, taking that leap forward, even though you don't know what's coming. You know what I mean? You're gonna want to move forward no matter what. So this is a great, I think it's ruled by the sun, and the sun's the happiest card actually if you look at the tarot in the tarot. So it means you're doing things right. So it may be scary, but leap off that ledge, basically. Full reverse, opposite. Again, like the death, halt your horses, right? Like, no, look before you leap. Don't look, you got it. Look, you might want to rethink, right? So that's exactly how I take those cards. And yeah, man. So I also wanted to point out one more thing. So we got the major arcana and the minor arcana, right? So the major things happening in your life with the minor details that all add up to where you're going and where it's flowing with your energy currently, right? Energy's fluid. You get to go ahead and do whatever you want with it. This is exactly what you're feeling at the moment. And I take that to say I'm like, I know I have to be dead on because everyone leaves my sessions like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, I need to do this, I need to do that. And again, it's their decision. So at the moment, this is where it's headed. And sometimes it's not the best, but sometimes you need to hear it. Right.
Mm.
And I wanted to point out 3 cards. So 78 cards, right? Every card has some kind of hand or person or head or arm or some kind of bodily something in it. There's 3 cards that don't have any human pieces in it at all. And I think like probably the most important because every time I pull them, the more I study it, I'm like, this is major. You need to really do this. You need to really listen to this, right? So the first one is 8 of Wands. So 8 of Wands to me, do it. Move forward. Stop waiting. Wands, fire, action, right? Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy doesn't need to be, but it's associated with, right? You're gonna want to move forward. You're gonna want to jump. You're gonna want to leap. Stop stunting yourself. Stop not growing, right? This is a definite yes. Move forward. You know what I mean? And next we have the 3 of Swords.
Ooh,
This
that one hurts.
devastating. Yeah, you look at it, it hurts. That's exactly what it's meant to do, right? So this is devastation. This is like people going against you. This is betrayal. This is effing yourself. Like this is to the ultimate. This is such a depressive energy. This is heavy. So when this comes out, you're not telling me everything. When this comes out, you're telling me, oh, yeah, I think about it. No, you're crying about it. This is like, oh, yeah, no, I can move on. No, you're not moving on. Why are you not moving on? This is heavy. So this is heavy negative energy, I feel. This is heavy positive energy. I mean, you could look at it backwards, right? Negative to move so fast, positive to stay stuck or whatever this might be. But the thing is like for the most part, these are very heavy energies. And the last one is this. Those were 2 minor arcanas. Now, the one major arcana is this one that has no people in it. And it's very telling because there's a lot you can get from it. It's the moon. So
Hmm.
the moon, I believe this is actually ruled by Cancer, I want to say. And it's just a very deep card of secrets, of things that are not brought to light, things that are in the shadows, things that are lurking, that are not in the light. You know what I mean? So this is very deceptive energy, right? And then if you go backwards, upside down, you're saying too much, right? You're not keeping things to yourself. Why are you trying so hard when you should be going the other way? Right. And if you see the animalistic quality of it all, I believe it's a coyote and a dog. So it's basically they're just yelling at each other for no reason, but they just have a little thing that divides them, but they keep yelling at each other. And it's like, why can't we just talk? You know, like it's over emotional. You know, it's over emotional and like the predatory feel because there's no people. That's how people get when they get really emotional. They just get out of themselves and they act like animals. You know what I mean? So it's very animalistic. It's very calming at the same time. But all in all, something needs to be said to move forward and something brought to the light. There's a lot of secrets going on. So all of those are very heavy to me when I pull them in readings. Everyone to each their own, but those cards to me have a different meaning to me. Yeah.
You can
So
even see on that one card, with the dog coyote, there's a separation in the ground underneath them.
mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, you see so much. You keep looking, you keep looking. I tell you, like I keep learning with my clients because there's things I didn't see or ways I wouldn't interpret them before, and it's crazy. It's really crazy.
Well, it's all in the interpretation, and that's what you do.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that you feel there's a story. There's a story that comes out of the cards, and it just keeps getting deeper and deeper as you pull more cards and learn a little bit about somebody, maybe what their goals are. Want to learn a little bit about you and the other aspect of you. So
Yeah.
we've talked before that you are a dancer, performer. You also do readings. You blend those two, but there's another piece of you and voiceovers, right?
Yeah, so check it out. So I am a very animated person. So I was like, you know what? And I am a good, not only tarot reader, I feel I'm a good reader, right? So I like to express things out. So I was like, let me mess with this. So I took some acting classes. I did some stuff back in the day. Nothing really came out of it, some commercials and stuff. But the thing is, I was like, wow, I really want to get into this. So I started getting some scripts. I started talking to some people. So I actually just got done with 3 straight days of studio work in behind the mic, and I'm doing voiceover stuff, guys. So I'm actually doing I got a reel together with 12 demos. I'm very proud of them. My sound engineer guy is amazing. Like that whole saying that artists have like big talented singers and stuff, like studio time is everything to them. I relate so much. Like there was so much creative energy going back and forth. And honestly, it's just another outlet. With as much energy as I put into my tarot, I do the same thing with my dancing. And now I'm doing the same thing with this voiceover stuff that literally I feel came out of nowhere, but I feel like I'm kind of good at it. So I was like, let me keep going. So yeah, guys. So it's another way to let out my energy because I got a lot.
Dude, you do, and you're like unstoppable.
Bro, like, yeah, I need to sleep more. Yeah. All my friends keep telling me that. Yeah, yeah.
Wow. How do we find you?
Yeah, so it's gonna be at Xander Martinez 1224, and that's on TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook. And Facebook would be preferable with the tarot because we can do video chats there no matter where you are in the nation. I got clients all the way to the West Coast. I'm located in Florida, but we could definitely just do, you know, video chats and we can make it happen like I did with my client yesterday.
Yeah, same thing you did with me when we just kind of test drove the tarot
Yeah.
like 3 weeks ago or whatever it was. Even the stuff that you identified, I was like, that's my life. Like, how do you know? Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing how it comes out in the cards.
Right. And
Amazing.
what's crazy is that I'll never claim to know. I'll claim to look at you and feel you. Right. And that's the thing that really gets to people. They're like, oh, I'm vulnerable now. You know what I mean? And you got to go in with that because that's what this is going to be about. The less receptive you are, the less you're going to get. I mean, at the end of the day, they're paying me. I want them to get the full experience. So if that means live with me, like getting up out of my chair and making a little spectacle, fine. If it means just very close contact here, face on the video, like I'm all for it. I'm all about the intimacy and the extravagancy.
Very cool. Xander, always great having you on. Give me some of that energy, man. I'm running
Yeah,
low
bro.
today.
Yeah, let us see through. Yeah.
Bring it on, bring it on. Thank you for today. Thanks for the insight on tarot, and all of us. See you. We'll be hooking up again soon. I appreciate it.
Definitely. Can't wait. Thanks a
All
lot, man.
right, Xander. Thank you. Happy New Year, and we'll be right back.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned.
This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.